The pounding started just after midnight, fists hammering against the wooden door like thunder in the quiet suburban night. I froze in the hallway of our modest ranch house in suburban Atlanta, my heart slamming against my ribs. My stepfather, Harlan, was out there, his voice a slurred roar cutting through the wood. Open up. Damn it. This is my house too. My mother, Elaine, emerged from the bedroom, her face pale under the dim hall light, wrapped in her faded robe. She glanced at me, her eyes sharp with that familiar mix of exhaustion and accusation. Go on, Lily. Handle it. Handle it, like always. I was the one who paid the bills, the one with the steady job at the tech firm downtown. At 28, I shouldn't have been playing referee in my own home. But here I was, cracking the door just enough to see Harlan's bloodshot eyes and the smear of red on his knuckles from where he'd punched the frame. What now? I whispered, trying to keep the neighbors from calling the cops again. His breath reeked of cheap whiskey. My card got declined at the bar. Again. Fix it. Lily. You're the smart one with the credit. I shut the door softly, leaning against it as the pounding resumed, softer now but insistent. Elaine sighed, crossing her arms. He's just stressed. The contracting gig fell through last week. Stressed? That was her word for everything, his rages, his disappearances, the way he'd loom over us during arguments. I'd moved back in 2 years ago after my apartment lease ended, thinking it would be temporary, a way to save money. But Harlan had latched on, seeing my stable income as his personal lifeline. The next morning, sunlight filtered through the kitchen blinds as I sipped coffee, scrolling through my bank app on my phone. Harlan nursed a hangover at the table, his broad shoulders slumped in a stained flannel shirt. Elaine hovered, pouring him more black coffee. About last night, he grumbled, not meeting my eyes. I need you to call the bank. Tell them it's a mistake. I set my mug down harder than I meant to. Why is it always my job? It's your card. He straightened, his jaw clenching. Because everything's in your name now. Remember? You co-signed that line of credit to help with the truck payments. I had, stupidly, a year ago when Elaine begged me, tears in her eyes, saying it was for family stability. Harlan's construction business was just hitting a rough patch. Now, that rough patch had become a canyon, and I was the bridge he kept crossing. Fine, I muttered, dialing the bank. The customer service rep was polite, efficient. MS. Read. There are several accounts linked to your SSN showing unusual activity. Would you like me to transfer you to fraud prevention? Fraud? My stomach twisted. Yes. Please. The fraud specialist's voice was calm, almost soothing. We've flagged multiple loans and credit extensions in your name over the past 8 months, totaling around $85,000. Did you authorize these? The room spun. Harlan watched me from across the table, his expression unreadable. Elaine busied herself at the sink, scrubbing a pan that was already clean. No, I whispered. I didn't. The specialist paused. We'll need you to come in person with ID. And MS. Read. You might want to bring a police report. I hung up, staring at Harlan. What have you done? He leaned back, crossing his arms. Nothing. Probably a mix-up. But his eyes darted to Elaine, and she wouldn't look at me. That afternoon, at First Southern Bank in downtown Atlanta, the air conditioning hummed too loudly as I sat in a sterile office. The manager, a middle-aged woman named Carla with wire-rimmed glasses, slid a folder across the desk. These are the origination documents. Take your time. I flipped through them, my hands trembling. Personal loans. A home equity line on our house, which wasn't even ours. It was rented, but listed as collateral somehow. My signature stared back at me on every page. But it wasn't mine. The loops were too tight. The L in Lily slanted wrong. And the dates. I'd been at work, pulling overtime on software upgrades. This is forgery, I said, my voice breaking. Carla nodded sympathetically. We have security footage from the branch visits. Would you like to see it? I swallowed hard. Yes. The video played on her computer, grainy but clear enough. Harlan at the counter, smiling that charming grin he used on clients. Next to him, a wiry man I recognized, Vince Keller. A shady loan broker Harlan had mentioned once or twice. Vince held papers, gesturing animatedly. But in one frame, frozen for emphasis, Harlan was signing my name, glancing over his shoulder like he owned the place. And there, in the background, sipping coffee from a paper cup, Elaine, my mother, watching, not stopping him. The betrayal hit like a physical blow, sucking the air from my lungs. She was there, I whispered. Carla's face softened. I'm sorry. This happens more than you'd think. Family members exploiting trust. I left the bank with copies of everything, my mind racing. Back home, I confronted them in the living room, the folder clutched like a weapon. Harlan lounged on the couch, remote in hand. Elaine folded laundry, avoiding my gaze. You forged my signature. Both of you. Harlan's eyes narrowed. Watch your tone, girl. It was for the family. Your credit's perfect. Why not use it? Elaine finally looked up, her voice pleading. Lily, honey, we were drowning. The business loans defaulted, and we needed a reset. A reset? This is theft. Identity theft. Harlan stood, towering over me at 6 feet 3 inches. Keep your voice down. You think you're better than us? Living here rent-free while I bust my ass. Rent-free? I pay half the bills. His hand shot out, grabbing my wrist hard enough to bruise. Sign the new applications. Make it right. I yanked away, stumbling back. No. I'm going to the police. Elaine stepped between us, her face twisted. You can't. He's your stepfather. Watch me. That night, I packed a bag and drove to my half-brother's place across town. Theo answered the door in boxers and a t-shirt, rubbing sleep from his eyes. Lily, what's wrong? Can I stay here? Just tonight. He pulled me inside his cramped apartment in Midtown, the city lights flickering through the blinds. What happened? I collapsed on his couch. The story spilling out, the forgeries, the video, Elaine's complicity. Theo's face hardened. We're filing a report first thing tomorrow. Assault 2. From that grab. I nodded, too exhausted to argue. But sleep evaded me. I lay there, staring at the ceiling fan, pieces clicking into place. Harlan's sudden business trips, the mail Elaine always intercepted. How long had this been going on? At dawn, I checked my credit report online. More hits. Credit cards I never opened. A car loan in default. The total debt now topped $100,000. My future, ruined unless I fought back. Theo made eggs while I called off work, claiming a family emergency. Irony there. Eat, he said, sliding a plate over. Then police. At the precinct, Officer Ramirez took my statement, her pen scratching steadily. This sounds like felony fraud. We'll need the bank docs. I handed over the folder. She whistled. Solid evidence. Detective Barnes will follow up. Barnes called that afternoon, his voice gruff over the phone. MS. Read. This is cut and dry. But family cases, they get messy. You sure you want to press charges? Absolutely. All right. Freeze your credit today. And watch your back. Desperate people do desperate things. The threats started small, insidious, like whispers building to a scream. First, it was the emails anonymous. Of course, from burner accounts. Drop the charges or regret it. I forwarded them to Detective Barnes, who sighed over the line. We'll trace them, but these guys use VPNs. Stay vigilant. Vigilant? I was already jumping at shadows in Theo's apartment, double-checking locks every night. Harlan had been served papers for the fraud investigation, and Elaine called me relentlessly. Her voicemails a mix of tears and anger. Lily, how could you do this to us? We're family. Family. The word twisted like a knife now. I'd blocked her number, but she used Harlan's phone next. Come home. Kiddo. We can fix this. Fix it? By burying more lies? I ignored them, focusing on rebuilding. Work understood. My boss at TechForge gave me remote days to handle the mess. I spent hours on calls with creditors, disputing charges, filing affidavits. Each victory felt hollow, though the damage to my credit would linger for years. Theo helped where he could, his graphic design job flexible enough for him to tag along to meetings. You're not alone in this, he said one evening, as we pored over more documents in his living room, pizza boxes scattered like evidence. Dad would be proud of you for fighting. Dad, our shared father, gone since we were kids, leaving Elaine to remarry Harlan 5 years later. Theo had escaped early, moving out at 18. I'd stayed. The dutiful daughter. Mistake. A week after the police visit, the vandalism hit. I came out to my car in Theo's lot, tires slashed, deep gashes that screamed intentional. Son of a... Theo muttered, circling the vehicle. No note. No cameras. But we knew. Harlan, I said. Barnes added it to the file. Pattern of harassment. We're building toward a restraining order. The order came through 2 days later, no contact. Stay 500 feet away. Paper protection. That night, Harlan violated it. He showed up at TechForge, charming the receptionist with his contractor grin. Security buzzed me down. Family emergency, he claimed. I stayed behind the desk, heart pounding. Leave. Harlan. Or I'll call the cops. His face darkened, veins bulging in his neck. You think a piece of paper stops me? Sign off on the loans. Make this go away. No. He lunged, but security intervened, escorting him out. I filed the violation report trembling. Barnes was blunt. He's escalating. Consider a safe house. No. I wouldn't run. Instead, I dug deeper. With help from a victims advocate group Carla at the bank recommended, led by a sharp woman named Sophia, I uncovered more. Harlan and Vince had a racket, forging family signatures for quick cash infusions. Sophia slid me a flash drive over coffee. Off the record. Other victim stories. Your mom's name pops up on old loans too. I reviewed it that night. Elaine had co-signed shady deals years back. Her real signature this time. She'd been in on it from the start, using relatives as collateral before turning to me. The realization crushed me. My mother, not a victim, but a partner in crime. She protected him, I told Theo, voice cracking. Over me, he hugged me tight. She's made her choice. Now we make ours. The fire came 3 nights later. Smoke alarms blared through the building, acrid scent filling the air. We evacuated to the lot, watching firefighters douse flames licking from Theo's door. Arson, the investigator confirmed. Gasoline under the frame. Harlan's alibi? Rock solid, ankle monitor from a prior DUI placed him at a bar across town. But I knew he'd sent someone. Vince. Maybe. Barnes frowned at the report. No prints. No witnesses. But this screams retaliation. We crashed in a motel that week. Paranoia, our constant companion. Sophia connected us with a pro bono lawyer, Marissa, who specialized in financial crimes. We'll hit them with everything: fraud, conspiracy, attempted arson. But Harlan struck back digitally. A website popped up. Lily Reed, the family destroyer. Photos of me. Twisted stories claiming I was the thief. Embezzling from work. Lies. But damaging. Clients at TechForge whispered. My boss called me in. We believe you. But lay low. Rage boiled over. He's trying to ruin my life. Theo and I brainstormed in the motel. TV flickering silently. We need to trap him, Theo said. Something he can't resist. The plan crystallized. Bait. I posted on a survivor forum, vaguely mentioning explosive new evidence from Vince's files that could implicate more people. Subtle, but enough to rattle. The response came fast from Elaine. She ambushed me in the TechForge parking garage after shift, stepping from shadows. What evidence? Lily. Her eyes were wild. Makeup smudged. Why do you care? I asked, hand slipping to my phone's record button. If you're innocent. She glanced around. Harlan. He needed help. I convinced him to use others first. Bought you time. Others? You mean other victims? She nodded. Frantic. People who wouldn't notice. But when that dried up, your credit was perfect. I tried to protect you. Protect? The confession poured out, admitting the forgeries. Her presence at the bank. The whole scheme. I pocketed the phone. Stone-faced. Stay away, or this recording goes to the DA. She screamed as I walked away, but security hauled her off. I sent the audio to Barnes and Marissa that night. Gold, Marissa said. This nails conspiracy. Arrests followed dawn raids, Harlan at his buddy's house. Elaine at home packing bags like she knew it was coming. Vince rolled over fast, testifying for a plea. The preliminary hearing was electric. Marissa laid it out. Forgeries, video proof, the pattern. Then the bombshell, bank photos enlarged, showing Elaine in the frame. Complicit. Harlan's lawyer stammered objections, but the judge bound them over. Bail denied. Flight risk. Harlan exploded, lunging. You bitch. Ruined everything. Guards dragged him out. Elaine wept, avoiding my eyes. Victory? It felt empty. A hollow echo in my chest. The months before trial dragged like chains. Each day a battle against the ghosts Harlan and Elaine had unleashed. I lived in a fog. Alternating between Theo's rebuilt apartment, insurance had covered the fire damage, and Sophia's safe house when paranoia peaked. Work became my anchor. TechForge promoted me to lead developer. A quiet nod to my resilience. But nights were hell, dreams of forged papers burning. Harlan's fists pounding endless doors. Marissa prepped me relentlessly. They'll paint you as vindictive. Stay factual. I nodded. But inside, emotions churned. How do you stay calm recounting your mother's betrayal? Harlan's team delayed. Filing motions, but evidence mounted. Vince's testimony detailed the operation. Harlan spotting marks, family with good credit, then forging docs with Vince's help. Elaine? The lookout. The enabler. She suggested Lily. Vince confessed in deposition. Said her daughter was reliable. Reliable. Like a tool. The harassment didn't stop with arrests. Harlan's sister, Aunt Rita, started calling from blocked numbers. Drop this. Lily. You're tearing the family apart. Family? What family? I changed my number. But the stress gnawed. Doctor prescribed anxiety meds. I took them sparingly, afraid of numbness. Theo noticed. Talked to me. Over takeout one night, I broke. I miss who she was, or who I thought she was. He squeezed my hand. Grieve that. But don't let it pull you under. Sophia's group helped too. Weekly meetings with survivors sharing stories of spousal theft, parental scams. You're not alone, a woman named Carla said. Her ex having drained her savings. And prosecuting? That's power.
Power.
I clung to it. The plea offers came mid-prep. Harlan, 5 years for fraud. Drop harassment. Elaine, probation. Marissa laughed. No deal. We go to trial. But they folded. Harlan to 7 years federal. Elaine to 2 with parole. Plus restitution. Vince got 4. I testified once. Voice steady as I described the forgeries. The video. Elaine's confession. Harlan stared daggers. I met his gaze. Unblinking. No further questions, Marissa said. Satisfied. Outside court. Sophia waited with Theo. How's it feel? Like breathing again. But closure? Elusive. The restitution order hit $150,000. Debts cleared from my name. Plus damages. Collecting? Harlan's assets were ghosts. Hidden or seized. Elaine had zilch. But my credit thawed. Slowly rebuilding. I quit crashing with Theo. Renting a small condo in Buckhead, secure building. My name only on the lease. First night. I sat on the floor amid boxes. Tears flowing. Not sorrow, release. Harlan couldn't touch this. Life normalized. Inch by inch. TechForge sent me to conferences. I spoke on cybersecurity, weaving in personal tales of identity protection. Colleagues respected it, no pity, just admiration. Theo started dating. I encouraged it, rebuilding my social circle too. Sophia became a friend. Brunches dissecting cases. Laughing over shared war stories. Any regrets? She asked once. Pushing charges?
None.
Losing her? It hurts. But she chose. A year post-sentencing. Harlan's letter arrived. Prison scrawl. Bile on paper. You destroyed me. But I'll be out. Watch your back. I shredded it. Pulse steady. Threats from behind bars? Pathetic. Elaine wrote too. Near parole. I'm sorry for the pain. Can we try? Sorry for the pain, not the axe. I burned it in the sink. Watching flames consume excuses. No response needed. Advocacy consumed more time. I volunteered with Sophia. Mentoring victims. How do you rebuild trust? A young man asked. His brother having stolen his identity. One step at a time. Test waters with actions. Not words. 2 years in. Promotion to senior manager. Background check. Clean slate. I bought a car outright. No loans. Small wins stacked. Theo and I hosted holidays. Chosen family. Sophia. Work friends. Group survivors. Laughter filled gaps where blood ties failed. Harlan died in year 3. Stroke at 55. Warden called. Next of kin? Not me. Cremate him. No grief. He died to me long ago. Elaine paroled to a halfway house. Reached via mutual cousin. She wants reconciliation.
No.
Some bridges burn for good. 5 years now, half a decade since that pounding door. Scars fade. I check credit monthly. Not obsessively. Doors don't trigger panic. Dreams?
Rare.
I date cautiously. A kind architect named Alex. Earning trust slowly. No rush. Harlan stole much security. Innocence, but not my core. He forged signatures. But couldn't fake my spirit. I rebuilt. Manager. Advocate. A sister.
Friend.
Author of my narrative. No cosigners. And in quiet moments, I wonder, what makes family? Blood or choice? The question lingers. But my answer's clear, choice wins. The courtroom echoed with the judge's final gavel, sealing Harlan's fate, but the real trial lingered in my mind long after. I walked out into the Atlanta sun, Marissa clapping my shoulder. You won.
One?
The debts were absolved. My name cleared. But the void where family used to be gaped wide. Theo drove me home. Radio low. Proud of you. I managed to smile. Thanks to you. Back at the condo, I unpacked the case files, kept as reminders, and filed them away. Time to move forward. Work ramped up. TechForge expanded. And I led a team now. Meetings, code reviews, normalcy as armor. But evenings brought reflection. Why had Elaine chosen him? Psychology books from the library offered theories. Codependency. Fear of abandonment. Dad's leaving when I was 10 had scarred her, making Harlan's control feel like security. Understanding didn't forgive.
Though.
Sophia's group evolved into therapy for me, sharing turned to healing. Betrayal trauma, the facilitator called it. Rebuild boundaries. I did. No more blind trust. Friends earned entry slowly. A coworker, Jenna, became close. Movie nights. Honest talks. Your story's inspiring, she said. No hero worship, just connection. Harlan's appeals failed. He rotted in federal pen. Rumors via Rita. He blamed me. Plotted revenge. Empty threats. Elaine's parole hearing. I didn't attend. But Marissa updated. She expressed remorse. To the board. Anyway. Remorse? Her letter stopped after I ignored the first. Good. Year 4 brought change. Alex entered via a coffee shop mishap. Spilled latte. Apologies. Laughter. Dates followed, cautious. Revealing layers. My ex was controlling, he shared. Yours.
Worse.
Family. He listened. No judgment. Trust bloomed. Theo approved. He seemed solid. Holidays with them felt real. Turkey. Stories. No shadows. Advocacy grew. I spoke at conferences. Identity theft starts at home. Protect yourself. Applause followed. But impact mattered more. Emails from listeners. You saved my credit. Harlan's death notice came via mail, unclaimed body. I signed off on state burial. Feeling nothing. Closure? Overrated. Elaine surfaced post-parole. Working diner shifts in Savannah. Cousin relayed. She's alone. Regrets everything. Too late. I focused on growth. Condo to house. Small but mine. Garden and back, planting roots literally. Team at work thrived. Boss hinted VP track. Your resilience shines. 5 years. Pounding faded to echo. I run marathons now. Endurance metaphor. Date nights with Alex turns serious. Proposal? Maybe. Life's mine. Forged anew. Question remains. Can betrayal forge strength? Mine did. Reflecting on that night, the pounding, the bloodied knuckles. It's a distant storm now. I've built a life untainted. House in the suburbs. Alex by my side. Ring on my finger after a quiet proposal. Theo's family grew. A niece I spoil. Work? VP at TechForge. Leading innovations. Advocacy? A book in works. Stolen selves. Harlan's grave? Unvisited. Elaine? Sighted once in Atlanta.
Aged.
Alone. Our eyes met across the street. She looked away. No words needed. The core lesson lingers. Family can break you, but you rebuild stronger. What would you do if betrayal knocked? Forgive or fight? The choice defines us.